and welcome to my paper Lost, Found and Lost Again, revealing material traces of Johannes Zwick's Constance Songbook. In this paper, I would like to tell you a detective story. It will be a story of a 16th century fragment once accidentally found inside an old chest in a private house, which then mysteriously disappeared, leaving its traces in the form of handwritten notes, printed descriptions, and pictures. It will be also a story about time and space travel, which starts from our times in Salzburg and then leads us to the mid-16th century Constance, a city in the south of Germany, and the mid-20th century Zwick, a little Swiss town hidden in Upper Engadin. Acting as a detective rather than a musicologist, I will trace the material history of this newly lost copy, passing through the significant milestones of its modern reception and tracking the process of its European migration. I attempt to solve this crime and to reach the last stop of these fragments' history, that is, its current location. Since 2018, I have been involved in a research project that runs at the University of Salzburg in Austria. Carried out by an international research team, this project aims to create a database with a precise descriptive catalogue of the German sources with printed musical notation from 1470s until the middle of the 16th century. The catalogue records provide codicological descriptions of editions based on a physical inspection of at least one extant copy. In August 2019, I came across an as yet unchecked edition represented by just one extant copy. A unique exemplar was located in the little Swiss town Zwick, in the archive collection of the library known as Bibliotheca Fundación Planta. A subsequent internet search brought me to the homepage of this institution. A few minutes later, I sent an official request for information about this copy, hoping to complete the incomplete catalogue record of our database soon. Next day, however, something unexpected happened. The chief librarian, Matthias Gredig, confirmed that the copy belongs to the archive collection of the Fundación Chiesa Planta, but he wasn't able to find it in his library. What he was able to find, however, was a private collection of the copy's first owner, a certain Lucas Fischer, a collection that could be instrumental in providing further clues about the copy's location, its state, and the edition itself. He wanted me to conduct an extensive investigation in situ in the Zwick library, so my journey to the past has begun. A sample of secondary sources that I checked on my way to the archive provided some basic information about and historical background for the edition whose copy I was about to examine in Zwick. It all started in the 16th century Constance, which, being involved in the Protestant Reformation movement, declared itself officially Protestant in 1527. A few years later, the city of Constance commissioned two pairs of brothers who stood behind this movement, Thomas and Ambrosius Blarer, and Conrad and Johannes Zwick, to publish a songbook, in German Gesangbuch, in order to encourage the congregation to actively participate in church ceremonies. The collection of newly written song text, partly set to single-voice melodies, was edited by Johannes Zwick and published by Christoph Froschauer the Elder in Zurich, with the title The New Songbook, Neue Gesambüchle. Widely known as the Constance Songbook, Constance Gesangbuch, this publication had long been identified with the 1540 print represented by one complete and one incomplete copy from the collections of the Augustiner Chorherren Schriftbibliothek in Klosterneuenburg and the University Library in Basel, respectively. The Central Library in Zurich also holds a fragmentary copy. The title of this book clearly refers to at least one early edition, however. It says that the new songbook consists of numerous beautiful psalms and sacred songs that were significantly enhanced and improved. Neue Gesangbüchle von viel schönen Psalmen und geistlichen Liedern durch etliche Diener der Kirchen zu Konstanz und anderswo merklichen gemehrt, gebessert und in geschickter Ordnung zusammengestellt. Its existence is also confirmed by the Augsburg-based colleague of Zwick, Jakob Daxer, who mentioned the theologian Dr. Johann Zwick's Songbook, printed in Zurich, in the preface to his 1538 complete Psalter of David. Taken as a basis this sample of references and hints, the German hymnologist Philipp Wackernagel listed this questionable edition as number 353 in his 1855 Bibliography of the History of German Hymns of the 16th century, with its probable title, printing place and date. Up until 1950s, this imaginary reconstruction remained the only source of information about this edition. In 1950, however, its physical copy suddenly emerged in a little Swiss town, Sameden. And exactly this unique copy I was about to trace in the Bibliotheca Planta. Originating from the Planta Sameden Foundation, established in 1943, this library was opened in 1946 in order to collect and hold handwritten and printed sources in the Romansh language. Located in the so-called Chiesa Planta, it also observed the private collection of the noble family Planta. In June 1950, the young vicar Lucas Fischer, who just married Anna Elisabeth Planta, tried to sort out this collection and came across an old printed book with musical notation. The first inspection revealed a certain similarity with the Constance Songbook known to him from the facsimile edition published in 1946. Fischer immediately announced his discovery to the facsimile editor, Jan Hotz, who said he wished to compare the fragmentary print with the 1540 complete edition and asked Fischer to send it to him in his telegram from 20 June 1950. Sure, I'm ready to take a look at it, the fragment. I hope I will manage to trace the origin. I would also like you to tell me the discovery location. In case your assumption that it has something to do with the first edition of Zwick's Songbook is correct, it would be indeed a great discovery and joy. Together with his colleague, the theologian Theodor Sieber, he carefully inspected the fragment and stated, "It certainly represents the very first edition of the famous Constance Songbook. Indeed, you have found an extremely valuable and important fragment of the long-awaited first edition of Johann Zwick's new Gesamtbuchle." In his long letter to Fischer, dated 28 June 1950, he announced some preliminary results of the investigation. That is, the first, the song order is the same as in the second edition of 1540. The second, all melodies of the fragment belong to the same texts as in the 1540 songbook. The third, the printing technique corresponds exactly with that of the 1540 songbook. He also obtained a permission to publish an article on his fragment, presumably submitted by Theodor Sieber, and to make a photocopy. As soon as the permission was granted, the fragmentary copy left the small city of Berg in Austria, where it was inspected by both Hotz and Sieber, and set off for Rheinach in Switzerland, where it was received by the chief librarian of the Swiss Ecclesiastical Chant Federation, Hans Holliger, in order to take a series of photographs. On 28th of July, his job was done and he sent the copy back to Sameden. Dear Mr. Fischer, in the attachment I send you the fragment of the new Gesamtbuchle back, after I photographed it page by page. Thank you very much for the temporary loan of this valuable print. The copy was safely received and on 29th of December 1950 became a part of the Fondation Planta Library collection. On behalf of the library of the Fondation de Planta Sameden, the undersigned confirms that today he received the first edition of Johannes Zwick's new Gesamtbuchle, which was found amongst family papers in the Chiesa Planta. The book is the property of Miss Mary of Planta and Mrs. A.E. Fischer von Planta, and should be kept in the library as a deposit. The owners have rights to take the book back in their possession. The fragment contains pages 49 to 160 and will be kept in the archive. For the Fondation Planta Sameden, Enrico Vital. Enrico Vital was the chief librarian. That was the short story I was able to trace searching through the private collection of Lucas Fischer. Found out inside an old chest, maybe even in this one. The fragmentary copy made a journey from Sameden to Berg, Rheinach and back to Sameden, was officially included in the Fondation Planta Library collection and then mysteriously disappeared, leaving no trace. All day long, I, followed by the chief librarian Matthias Gerdig, was systematically inspecting the collection of the Bibliotheca Chiesa Planta, moving from one room to another, from one bookshelf to another, checking every single chest and every single box. No luck, no result. Later this day, I left Sameden, very much frustrated by this failure, but carrying in my box a sample of publications, copied publications from the collection of Lucas Fischer, copied for me by Matthias Gerdig. This pile of copied papers gave me the hope. Starting from 1950 onwards, the fragment appeared in a series of publications that discussed it from different points of view. Already in 1950, Theodor Sieber, who first inspected the fragment alongside with Jan Hutz, published an illustrated paper in the Swiss magazine Der Evangelische Kirchenchor, offering its codicological analysis and the description of its contents. Sieber's paper was followed by Lucas Fischer's article published in 1951 in the Swiss journal Zwingli. His focus, however, was on the detailed comparison between the first, the fragment, and the second, the 1540 print editions, made on the basis of his handwritten notes. These notes are also available for inspection in his private archive in the Library Fondation Planta. In 1955, Konrad Abel, the German hymnologist and musicologist, reported on the Sameden discovery in the first issue of the newly established periodical Jahrbuch für Liturgik und Hymnologie. In 1956, his colleague, the Swiss theologian and church musician Markus Jenny, made his own contribution to this journal, explaining why the edition of the Constance Songbook found in 1950 cannot be the first edition. Both Abel's and Jenny's investigations were conducted on the basis of the fragment's photocopy provided by Lucas Fischer. The correspondence between Abel, Jenny and Fischer confirms the fact that they never saw the original. Consequently, the fragment didn't leave the Bibliotheca Fondation Planta. It should be still there, somewhere.
Gelobt sei Gott im höchsten Thron, samt seinen.
At the end of February 2020, a short email from Matthias Gredig landed in my inbox. It simply said, "The early edition of the new Gesamtbüchle is found." All this time it was preserved in the treasury of the Library Fondation Planta Sameden, in a small spare room unavailable for inspection during my visit to Sameden. And it's still held there, waiting for me to come. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 outbreak made the immediate inspection of this fragment impossible. There are lots of things that need to be done now. The copy should be re-inspected in order to check the description of both Fischer and Sieber. It should also be photographed, since the photocopy of 1950 is considered lost. Its connection with the Swiss German Protestant Songbook tradition should be revised, and so on. Therefore, its rediscovery is not the end of the journey. It's just the beginning. Thank you very much for watching.
Gelobt sei Gott im höchsten Thron, samt seinen eingeborenen Sohn, der für uns hat genug getan. Halleluja, Halleluja, Halleluja.
I would like to thank the organizers of the MedRen conference for providing me the opportunity to present my paper and to get some feedback. My thanks and appreciation go to Matthias Gredig, without whose help this paper would not be possible. I would also like to thank the principal investigator of our project, Andrea Lindmeyer-Brandl, for reviewing my paper and for providing me with wonderful musical examples. Thank you very much.
Gelobt sei Gott im höchsten Thron, samt seinen